Professor Ranky, thank you once again for being with us this morning. It's very generous of you to join us for a few minutes to talk about physical well-being during the quarantine, and such as all of us around the world are in right now. And so I wanted to start by asking you a question about physical well-being in general, and then especially in a situation like this. Why would you say it's still important? After all, we've got so many other things to look after nowadays.
Right. So hello to everyone, and thanks for having me. I'm really happy to be here. And I'm going to cut in a little bit and just say hi to all my students who I haven't been able to meet ever since the quarantine. And I hope that they're all doing well, and I do miss them. And I do miss our classes together because they used to be a lot of fun. Well, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult right now to convince everyone that it is important to add some sort of physical fitness routine to our everyday lives, which is already difficult to keep in routine anyhow. And I'm going to start by scaring everyone a little bit, and then hopefully I will also, in the second half of my answer to your question, I'm going to, that's my younger son, sorry. I'm going to add some happy remarks, something that's not so scary. So first of all, it's really important to understand how easily muscle mass can deteriorate. And I just read an article about people who are put on respirators now, and if you get put on a respirator and because of the coronavirus, basically you will probably end up being there for 2 weeks, and that means you won't be able to move for 2 weeks. You're going to be artificially fed, and in 2 weeks you lose 40% of your muscle mass, which is huge. It's just huge. And this is not just losing weight. This is your muscle mass that you're going to be losing. The second fact that's a little bit scary, and it's scary for me, and it's going to be scary for you and all of the professors out there, that after the age of 30, this is a Harvard study that I read, that after the age of 30, you lose 3 to 5% of your muscle mass every decade, so every 10 years. And this is just with a normal lifestyle. This is just getting old, and this starts at the age of 30. And this is with a normal lifestyle, maybe even working out just a little bit, just you have your normal routine, you're not overweight, maybe you eat healthily, you go to work, you do your job. Still, you're going to lose muscle mass unless you work against that. And number 3 is an experience that I would like to share, which was my experience. I had knee surgery a couple of years back. I was only in my 20s then. And after the surgery, I had to stay in bed for 2 weeks, and then I was on crutches for another 4 weeks. And that's when I was able to really get back into rehabilitation and working back to being able to do sports again. And within the 6 weeks, that basically my right leg that I had the surgery on, the thigh muscles, the quadriceps was basically got to half of the size of my other leg. Wow. So it's very, very easy to lose muscle mass. So there is your number 1 reason to try and stay fit and try to it. Really, our aim here for the time of the quarantine is mainly just to keep the muscle mass that we already have, not to become bodybuilders or you shouldn't set yourself huge expectations. It's really to try and stay fit and healthy. The other half of my answer is what the kind of effect exercise has on your brain and your mental state. And if you go to, there's a really, really interesting TED talk from a neuroscientist about the amazing effect exercise has on your brain. And half of it is short term, And if you, of course, exercise regularly, then you're going to achieve really amazing long-term results. So the short term is if you, after you exercise, even like just one single exercise session of 30 to say 40 minutes is going to, after that, you're going to feel happier for another 2 hours. Your concentration is going to be much better. And of course, also it will improve your reaction time. So all of that, which is important now that all our students and our professors are at home, and these are important factors that you could use in your work. Now in the long term, so if you do exercise for over a longer period of time, that will improve a lot of other things. It will actually change your brain. Your brain is going to be bigger due to exercise. You will be able to produce new brain cells, which was amazing. That was an amazing fact for me. And of course, it's going to affect your long-term memory, which again is really, really useful. So those are the things that you should keep in mind now that you are in this lockdown situation, and when you have to convince yourself that, okay, I have got to go and work out even though I'm at home.
Right. Well, I'm persuaded, but I still have a problem, and maybe there are students and faculty members who share my problem, which is, what do I do? Sometimes I can get out, right? So right. Sometimes maybe I can go for a run or a walk or something like that, but sometimes I can't even get out. For students and faculty who are in a situation like that, what would you recommend?
Well, I think we have to approach this from two different perspectives. Number one, like ourselves here in Hungary right now, we are asked to stay at home as much as possible, but we do have the opportunity to go out if we want to. So if you have the time, and if we don't have to stay inside. So I would recommend for everyone who is allowed to leave their homes to go out at least, twice or 3 times a week. If you like running, go running. If you like cycling, go cycling. If you just go for a walk, go for a walk. Okay, it's just going to change. Just being outside changes your mood and attitude. And right now, I don't know how, everyone's in a different country probably, but in Hungary the weather is really beautiful right now. We have a lot of sun, and it's not too hot, not too cold. Go outside, do that definitely. And if you're in your home, my number one recommendation is you do not have an excuse not to work out. Because we like to come up with it. I don't have the time. I have to take care of my kids. I have to do the cooking. I have to clean up. I have so much work. It's difficult, I know, but you really don't have an excuse. That's just not enough. We're talking about 30 minutes every other day, or like 3 times a week. I just saw a video on Facebook of a man running the marathon in the back garden. I don't know if anyone else has seen it. I'm not recommending for anyone to do that, but there's your number one, show that you have no excuse. Number two, I had a friend who worked on a cruiser for 10 years. Cabin sizes on cruisers are very small, as you know, and the cabins of the employees are even smaller. So she worked in a casino, and after a while eventually she became a casino manager, which is a very stressful job. And I asked her, okay, how do you deal with it? And she said, my cabin is just big enough to roll out my yoga mat, and I can do yoga every day if I want to. So you have no excuse. As long as you have enough space to put down a yoga mat or an exercise mat or just a towel that you can work out on, you can do it. Okay, and we're talking about 30 minutes, which is one part of the series that you're watching on Netflix or YouTube or whatever. So you can do it. What I would recommend is, number one, learn your own body, in the sense of when are you most energized in the day. I've come to realize more than ever that I'm a morning person. I have so much energy in the morning. It's just sometimes it's even too much for me to sit down and do like thinking and writing work. I go and run and exercise in the morning, and then I get much calmer, and it's much easier to sit down to the computer and write stuff down and do that sort of theoretical work. But some people are the other way around, obviously. Some people are more energized in the evening. So if you're that kind of person, work out in the evening. Find out what is good for you. Number 2, don't overthink it. Sometimes we're like, oh, I don't want to do it, and I don't feel like it, and I know I have to do it, but I'm tired. And okay, no. But what works for me is that I always get my workout things, my clothes ready, and I just put them on. And once you have your clothes on, you have no excuse anymore. You're going to do it. So just think about, okay, what do I have to do next? I'm going to put my workout gear on, and I'm going to go and do whatever I want to do. Always warm up. Okay, so it's a 10-minute warm up, 10-minute cool down at the end with stretching, whatever. And then basically that's already something like 15 to 20 minutes. And you just have to add another 15 minutes of strength exercises or running or whatever works for you. This is again important. You have so much time now. Find out what works for you. If you can go outside, try running, try walking, try cycling, try rollerblading, anything that you can do. And I'm sure one of them you will like. One of them will give you a thrill. If you're in your home and you can't go out, try yoga, try Tabata, try HIIT, high intensity interval training. Try them all. They're all available on YouTube and a lot of other places, and you will find something that you like. It has to be something that you like. Okay, eventually. But you're going to find something, I'm sure. And again, something from my experience, don't give up until the 5th session. If you've done 5 sessions and you still feel like I'm not feeling any better, this is not giving me anything, then you have my permission to give up. but I think most people have the tendency, and that includes me, I have to say, that to give up after 3 sessions. This started with me when I was running, when I started to run first. The first time around, you have all this, okay, I'm going to do it, I'm going to change my life, this is going to be so good for me now. The second time around, you still have a little bit of the push, and the third is the most difficult one. It's usually because you already have, sore muscles here and there, and you're a little bit tired. And if you push past that and you go to the 4th and 5th sessions, I'm willing to bet with anyone that they will realize that maybe they will feel like, okay, I've done 5 sessions, I've done what the professor has told me to do, and I still don't feel anything. And then 2 days later, they're going to go like, oh, now I understand what she's saying, because now I'm missing it. And after 5 sessions, you are going to miss it. And if you don't, then it's really not for you. Then you have my permission to give up exercising.
And what another thought that occurs to me is, of course, it's always possible that in any of these exercise methods, someone injures themselves.
Right.
I don't know, they pull a muscle or whatever. So what, you have any words of wisdom in a case like that? They want to work out, they've pulled a muscle, what do they do?
Well, it's when that happens, it's usually, because major muscle pulls and major injuries happen more in a less controlled environment. So more in a basketball game or a frisbee game or something like this. If you go out running, the worst thing that can happen is that you sprain your ankle a little bit or you hurt your knee a little bit, which means you still have your upper body to work with. Of course, you have to deal with the injury. So if it's a muscle pull or just, you're having really sore muscles, then take an extra day off, hot showers, relax, massage it a little bit, it's going to be fine. If it's a sprain, like an ankle sprain or your knee hurts, then, keep it elevated, put ice on it for a couple of days, and that should also heal itself within 1 or 2 weeks. But then you still have your upper body to work with, so you can still do upper body exercises that you can find. I'm really in this sort of controlled environment. You shouldn't experience major injuries. Muscle pulls, yes, they heal themselves within like they should in 2 weeks. So that's something. And then and as I said, that is really one part of your body. You still have other parts of your body to work with.
Right. Well, thank you for all these good advices, and I think we'll be returning to you to ask for more information, you know.
Okay, can I just quickly say something? We've talked about this before. Hopefully with this, along with this video, I will send you some YouTube videos that I recommend for students or professors to do. And also I've really come to like phone apps. Simply because with a YouTube video, you watch it, you do it, and then it's not easy to keep track of what you've already been doing. With phone apps, you always have the ability to look back upon what you've already done. And the two apps that I really like to use are, you know, the company with the swoosh sign. They're free. Both of them are free. One of them is their running app, and the other one is like an overall workout app that they have available for smartphones. And the one that I like about the running app is that it has a lot of functions, normal functions. It keeps track of where you're running, of your speed, distance you're covering, and so forth. But you can also add a coach to your running, which is really nice. They keep talking to you. Of course, they say the same thing over and over again, but there's a number of ones that you can listen to, and they're really motivating. Number one, yeah, they're super good. Number one, they keep your mind off of what you're actually doing. Number two, they're really, really motivating. And of course, the other one with the same company, they have like an overall body workout that has all sorts of exercises within it. You can set your levels, or if you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, if you want, which part of your body you want to work on, your upper body, your core, your legs, and it has different types of workouts. So some of them are you know, you can say that I have no equipment at home, or what sort of equipment I have at home, and also what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and different types. So you can have Tabata, you have yoga on there, lots of things to choose from. So and also a lot of fitness apps that you had to pay for before the quarantine are now made free for a couple of months. So do explore those. They are really good. For example, Chris Hemsworth has made his app free for, I think, 3 months. Have a look at it. There's even diet tips in his one. So look around your phone store, your app store, and they're amazing. They will help you a lot.
Okay, that's really, really helpful, in fact. And so I should note before we end our interview that there are going to be some links provided with this interview to some of these apps and to some YouTube videos and channels that you recommend. So students and faculty both will be able to not just hear your advice, but spring into action using some of these apps and so on. So I mean, it's in a funny way, this presents, I guess, all of us a kind of opportunity.
Absolutely.
Maybe not the opportunity we were hoping for, but well, when you have lemonade.
Exactly. Yeah. Just work with the things that are thrown at you and make the best of it, definitely. So, you know, stay fit, stay healthy, and keep in mind that right now, your aims should not be running a marathon or running an Ironman. Really, it's just stay fit, stay healthy, and with those little bit of exercise, stand up from your computer. I see my children who play all sorts of sport now having to sit in front of the computer for 8 hours. Stand up for your computer, because your body is going to thank you for it later. So stay fit, stay healthy.
So Professor Ranky, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All the best.
For you too. Thank you.